Hello, everyone, and you are very welcome to our Global Engineers webinar about critical skills. My name is Heiji, and I'm the membership executive of Engineers Ireland. So here I have what is coming up today. So first of all, I will start talking about Engineers Ireland and what are the benefits of being a member and what is a professional title and how to apply in Ireland. And then next, we'll have my colleague, Pierre. He'll be talking about the top 10 companies that are recruiting in Ireland and the employment permit issued in Ireland in the last few years. After Pierre, we'll have Barry. He's from Morgan McKinley Recruitment, and he'll be talking about the critical skills list and also about the working visa process in Ireland. And we'll finish with questions and answers. So first of all, a little bit about us. So Engineers Ireland is one of the oldest institutions established in Ireland. We were established in 1835. We are a multidisciplinary institution, and we have more than 25,000 members. We are the sole body for awarding registered professional titles, and we are your professional home. So what are the benefits of being a member? So here I have a list for you. So the membership benefits, so you have an opportunity to network with other engineers, other engineering companies from different sectors, different societies, different divisions. We have more than 200 events per year where you can be part of, and you also can be a volunteer in one of our programs and build up your CPD hours. CPD is every course, everything that you do to help you to progress in your career. So CPD means continuing professional development. So it's a way where you can build up those hours. You also have access to exclusive reports and articles. So we have reports about salary survey, for example, and technical documents that you have access once you remember. And you also keep up to date with engineering news. So we send to all our members, we send newsletters with the news in the engineering world. And you also can learn new skills. So you, as a member, you get discounts in our courses, which I will talk in more detail later. And if you are thinking about applying for a professional title, you get all the support you need to successfully achieve the professional title. And you have an international recognition. So that means if you are traveling abroad for work, or if you decide to move to another country, you will have this international agreement. So you just transfer your membership or your professional title. So enhance your professional profile. MEI. MEI means membership institution of membership of the Institution of Engineers Ireland. So once you're a member, you can include your membership number in your CV, in your LinkedIn profile, in your email signature. So this will help you, will give you, you will highlight your CV when the recruiters are looking into your profile. And we also have access to our job desk in your website. So if you are from abroad and you come to Ireland and you want to work as an engineer in Ireland, being a member of Engineers Ireland is a way that you are recognizing your engineering qualification. So it will definitely give you more and highlight your CV against others engineers. And also shows to recruitment companies or engineering companies that you are interested in staying in Ireland, you are interested in investing in your career, which automatically will give you a career progression. Because once you're a member, you can then learn new skills, do courses with Engineers Ireland, and this is a very positive way to show to the recruiters that you are serious about getting a job and staying in Ireland, investing in your career. So we are the professional home for global engineers. We have a big diversity in our members. So 31% of our all new members are from outside Ireland and UK. So we have engineers from all over the world. We have the scheme called Refer a Friend. So, so if you know someone that is already a member of Engineers Ireland, you can include their details into the application form, and your friend then will get a voucher from One for All by post with €100. Here I have just a slide to show you where to find the events in our website, and some examples of the discounts you can get as a member. So when you go to our website and you click in events, you can then research which type of events you want to hear about, be part of. But I have a few here that I select just to show you. So this one is about leadership and management skills. You see there that as a member, you get €100 discount. And then there's other courses about energy, for example. We have technical reporting and report writing. This is a very common course, very popular one for people that are from outside Ireland and the UK. We also have a professional diploma in engineering leadership and management. So this course is a level 9, so it would be like a master's degree. This is for someone that has lots of working experience, but needs more to learn more about the leadership and management in a way that they will maybe use for their professional title application. So you see that the price for non-members is $6,500, and there is a very good discount for members. It goes then for $4,750. If you want to hear more about this, you can send me an email and I send you the details about this masters. So here I have a step-by-step how to become a member of Engineers Ireland. So the first thing to do is to fill out our short online application form. So you go to our website and you click and become a member, you join now, and then you fill out the application form. Next thing is to send us a copy of your diploma and your transcripts in English verified. So here's where most people have questions about how to get my document verified. There are different ways you can do that. So you can ask someone that you know that is a member of Engineers Ireland to sign your documents. So you make a copy or you send them by email and ask them to include their membership number, the date, and their signature, saying this is a true copy of the original document. This is one way. Another way, if you don't know anyone that is a member of Engineers Ireland, you can go with your documents to a guard station and ask them to sign and stamp the documents for you. The Garda here in Ireland, they do this service without any charge, and you don't have to make an appointment. You just go to any Garda station and ask them to verify the documents for you. Another way, if you are still in Brazil or in another country, you can then ask a solicitor to sign the documents for you. And then we will accept them by email. We do this because we are not fully opened in the office yet, so we are not able to see the original documents. So we are accepting all the documents by email. So we need this verification before you send to us. And then after that, there is a payment fee. So the normal fee is €280 per year. But if you are looking for a job, if you don't have a job yet, you can then apply for the special unemployment fee. This is €65 per year. And then after that, your documents will go to the membership qualification board. They will meet. They meet once a month, and they will verify your documents, read your application, and approve you as a member of Engineers Ireland. So you become a member, you receive an email from us confirming that you are a member with your membership number, which you then can already put in your CV, in your LinkedIn, in your email, and you also will receive a card and a certificate by post. So now I'll just give you an overview about the professional title, because some countries don't have the professional title, and I just want to explain what is a professional title. And so they are the 4 professional titles we have in Engineers Ireland. So they are Associate Engineer, Engineer Technician, Chartered Engineer, and Fellow. Okay, so they are different titles to recognize your your career and to recognize your competencies as an engineer. So your professional competencies recognized. So if you're working years and you have like at least, let's say, 8 years working experience, this includes in any countries, not only Ireland, you then want to demonstrate this as a chartered engineer. So you can apply for the professional title of a chartered engineer. So this is one way you are getting your competences recognized. And which will give you a competitive advantage, and you then can sign for tenders, for example. So if you are not a chartered engineer, you can't sign for a tender in Ireland. You always will be working for someone that is a chartered. And so this is just an overview. And if you get one of those professional titles, this will maximize your earning potential. So you automatically get a pay rise. So what do I need to know before when I'm thinking about applying for a professional title? So first of all, you must be a member of EngineersIreland for a minimum of 3 months. And then you have to demonstrate your competences as a professional engineer. So there is essays, career reports, and a professional interview involved in this process. And we also ask you to have 2 supporters to be in this process. So the supporters must be chartered engineers, and they must be chartered engineers with EngineersIreland. And you also have to demonstrate that you are learning new things every year. So a minimum of 35 hours of continued professional development per year for the last 2 years. So this is what it's a part of the process. So you do have to demonstrate that you are learning new skills, and a minimum of 35 hours of those. And we have 2 deadlines per year. It's always on the last Friday in June and the last Friday in January. So if you miss one deadline, you have them to wait until the next deadline. And so this is just a general overview of the process, what is involved. There's lots of paperwork, essays, career reports. So you do a report of all your career since graduation, and then includes 2 supporters, demonstrate 35 hours, and then you can apply for the professional title. So that's it for me. So now I'm passing on the word to my colleague Pierre, and he will be talking about the top 10 companies recruiting and the employment permit issue in Ireland. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hedgie, for that overview of EngineersIreland and becoming a member. So feel free to reach out to us, obviously ask any questions at the end, but also get in touch with us, and we will, again, help and guide you, because we want to support you in your career and your membership of a professional body. Go through the side of the presentation around background information about recruiting in Ireland companies and the statistics of employment visas that are issued in Ireland, just to give you an understanding of, I guess, the opportunities as you may be considering working here, or if you are here, of where you can apply. So yeah, as the question is there, can I get a job with a company that will apply for working visa? So yes, as later on we'll explain the process of applying for a working visa yourself, especially in the critical skills area, but also many companies, as they recruit a large amount of engineers, both especially globally, that can also do that process for you. Just a list from our records of the top 10 engineering companies in Ireland that have recruited a lot of global engineers or international engineers in the year 2020. So as you can see there, even the top 4 or 5 have over 50% of global engineers. So engineers that have qualified and have experience or outside of Ireland and have come to work in Ireland in those engineering companies. So that's from 2020. So they're the list there. So then in overall, then we will see then the amount of working visas that have been issued since 2019. So obviously just before the pandemic, but in the last 3 years or previous 3 years, over 16,000 visas were issued overall. As you can see there, the different nationalities that they were issued for, including India, China, and Pakistan, as well as Brazil. So very high amount of working visas issued. But even alone this year in 2022, in June alone, there's over 20,000 working visas have been issued. So over the 16,000 limit, and we're only just halfway through the year. So you can see that there's a large amount of issues of visas that are being issued across Ireland for international and global or international visas that are being issued for those to work here in Ireland. But more specifically then within engineering sector, so this is just more of a breakdown to give you an idea within different engineering fields, amount of issues of visas. So as you can see there, again, in 2019 and 2020, just over 3,000. Obviously 2021 is a lot less of just over 2,000. But this year, again, over 5,000 have been issued within the engineering sector. So again, there's a massive opportunity for that to increase by the end of the year. And again, all this information is fully available on the government website, and we can share the link with you if you want to find out more information there. But again, this is a great opportunity to see that working visas are being issued. And obviously Barry will go into further process of how to apply for that. But before that, just then to show you then, so this is just the top 10 companies across Ireland who are employing and I guess working through the international and working visa process. So you can see there the likes of Microsoft, Intel, but also like mentioned earlier, Arab and John Paul Construction, who are some of the big engineering companies that are recruiting again global engineers and who will be more likely they will be on the trusted partner. And so Barry will go into more details of what that means in terms of streamlining and making the process to apply for work much easier. But again, many companies are recruiting global engineers and they're continually doing so even at this time. So make sure you check that out and see the opportunities that they do have available. So now I'll pass it over to Barry then to go into more details.
To be here. I'm partnering with Engineers Ireland again. It's something that we're always keen to get involved in and hopefully dispel some of the myths that are out there in regards to critical skills, work permits, and also the visa situation, which is in Ireland at the moment. So interestingly enough, Pierre, just looking at your figures there from the previous slide or the slide before, it looks as though in terms of the numbers that came through last year, about 12% of the 16,000 critical skills work permits which are issued were in the engineering sector, whereas already I think this year we're at we've almost doubled that figure. So I think it's looking at about 25% of the over a quarter of the 20,000 critical skills work permits that have been issued have been aimed or have been applied for and granted to engineering professionals, which is, I suppose, indicative of the industries in Ireland, the boom that we're currently experiencing across multiple industries, not just construction, but manufacturing as well, particularly in the life science industry. So pharmaceutical, medical device are two really buoyant industries that are just going from strength to strength throughout Ireland. You have, I suppose, what would be deemed the capital of medical device, which would be Galway, and then down in Dublin and up in Dublin, down in Cork and up in Dublin, you'd have a number of the leading pharmaceutical companies as well, the world-renowned pharmaceutical companies based on the island of Ireland as well. I'm just going to give you a bit of an overview about Morgan McKinley. We are an Irish-owned company, but we have offices in 18 offices in 9 countries throughout the world. It was originally established by an Irishman, Pat Fitzgerald, just over 30 years ago. We have, I think at the moment, 1,200 employees in Ireland, working across offices, Waterford, Dublin, Cork, Limerick and Galway. And we're the largest Indigenous People Solutions business in Ireland, with a number of specialty desks. So we'd have finance, IT, life science, contracting, and then my own desk, which is the engineering team who look after permanent roles within the within the island of Ireland. So the critical skills employment permit, it's important to, I suppose, know the difference between a permit and a visa. Typically a visa is what's needed to enter the country, while a permit is what's needed to work in that country. The critical skills employment permit then is aimed at skilled workers who are qualified in professions where there's a shortage. And again, going back to the industries in Ireland, which are really, I suppose, seeking skilled workers, the engineering industry is probably at the fore of that. So on the critical skills list, you would have mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, electronic engineers, design development engineers, all the way down production process engineers. So there'll be a lot of subsections here as well. So for example, under electrical engineers, we generally have automation engineers, where there's again a huge shortage of professionally trained candidates suitable for some of the roles that we would be typically looking at. So the critical skills, the permit application, there's a lot of, I suppose, uncertainty, a bit of unknown that's out there just in regards to the permits. Okay, for example, during COVID, I think the wait period went back. Sorry, Michael, thanks. The wait period went back to approximately 18-19 weeks, the application period and the processing times, which for a lot of employers in Ireland was deemed, I suppose, not suitable. Okay, because they needed skilled engineers on site immediately. Thankfully, I suppose, with the way restrictions have been lifted, we're seeing a huge improvement, I suppose, in the processing times. Okay, but a lot of employers don't really see or know about the benefits of becoming an employer of engineers from outside the EU. Okay, so having to be in a position to sponsor engineers is not something that they're 100%, I suppose, confident about or comfortable about doing, and a lot of it's down to a lot of the knowledge that they don't know. Okay, so for an engineer with the relevant qualifications, they can apply for a critical skills employment permit under the following criteria. So the job that has been offered to them has to have been minimum 32,000 a year. Again, it has to match in with the qualifications that the engineer has. The job must be for a minimum of 2 years. The company must have less than 50% of their employees from non-EEA countries, that should read, and the company is registered with Revenue Trading in Ireland and registered with the Companies Registration Ireland office. So basically what that means is that the company that you apply to, if you are successful in your job application process and they want to sponsor you, they can do so, so long as they're up to date with their tax, that more than 50% of their current employees are from Ireland or from the EU, and that they offer you a role that is that's more than 32,000 a year. The benefit for them is that they would obviously be able to secure a skilled professional like yourself, with the qualifications that they need and the knowledge that they need and the expertise. The visa itself, the permit itself, is actually going to be in the company's name, okay, rather than the candidate. So if Intel, for example, was to bring in somebody, they would sponsor them. The permit belongs to Intel, okay, which means that the candidate is not able to leave until the 2 years are up. Okay, so that's I suppose really beneficial for the company that's sponsoring the engineer. So there's two things that the employer can do. Okay, they can register as a trusted partner, or they can go down the the other route of just being just applying for standard applications. That means that, I suppose, if you've been invited to Ireland if you've been invited to apply for a role, and you've been successful and the company are not a trusted partner, then they can apply for a visa for you, going through the same criteria as before, but it is typically longer in processing times, but also a lot more labor intensive as well, because there's quite a lot of red tape that needs to be continuously gone through. So if you've been invited to come to Ireland for an interview for a job on the critical skills occupation list, you can apply for a highly skilled job interview authorization, and this allows you to remain in Ireland for a maximum of 90 days. My understanding there is that it can take you quite a while to obtain a visa to come into Ireland if you're coming from certain countries, whereas the interview authorization permit and visa allows you into Ireland and allows you to remain here for 90 days, and you can apply for that even if you have been successful, even if you've completed the interview process. But that will allow you to come to Ireland, and then it will allow you to start working, I suppose, before you obtain your visa, because the wait period for a visa, again, to let you into the country, is sometimes longer than the work permit. So yourself, either you or the employer can apply for a critical skills employment permit. You can apply online with the required documentation using the employment permits online system, and either you or your employer must pay a fee of €1,000. And if your application is refused, you will get 90% of your application fee back. So again, this is quite labor intensive. It's something that a lot of companies are realizing that it's not necessary, I suppose, particularly if they become a trusted partner, which we're going to talk about now on the next slide. So any company can apply to become a trusted partner. Again, it's something that it's becoming more and more evident that it's the way forward, because if you're going to bring in one candidate, one applicant on a critical skills visa, this means that being a trusted partner, this means that you only have to carry out the paperwork once, okay, and it registers the company, and it's a lot easier and a lot quicker, as we'll see later on. The point of it is to streamline the application process and reduce administrative burdens for applicants. There's no fee for trusted partner registration. We spoke about how if it's a standard application, it costs €1,000 for every application. And there's a shortened employment permit application form and reduced paperwork for every application which is applied for. I think on the next slide we talk about the process times. So for standard applications, the current date, and this is of yesterday, is 7 weeks. Again, for the standard ones, and those companies who have become trusted partners, the standard application there is just 4 weeks. And again, if we think about going back to last April, May of this year, they were still processing applications from November of 2021. So clearly there's been a huge progress being made in the application process, which has been fantastic. Further on then, if you are successful in obtaining a critical skills employment permit, you can bring your family to live with you in Ireland, okay? Now, families coming from a country where citizens need a visa to enter, they must all apply for separate visas. Again, going back to just highlighting the fact that there is a difference between the permits and the visas. And then families coming from a country whose citizens do not need a visa to enter Ireland, they must show proof that they are family members of a critical skills employment permit holder to immigration office in the airport or port where they enter to Ireland. Once a applicant has been successful in obtaining a critical skills visa, they can apply for a stamp 4 permit to live and work in Ireland. And this is something that a lot of, I suppose, engineers from overseas have been looking at. The reason is because you can work full-time in Ireland on a stamp 4 visa without any constraints. I think you apply for it every 2 years, but once you've had it for 5 years, you can apply for citizenship, Irish nationalisation, which I know a lot of global engineers are really keen to do, given some of the roles that are available in Ireland, and I suppose the current salaries and benefits which become attached to those roles. If you are successful in obtaining a critical skills visa, again going back to my point earlier about how it is an employer's name for 24 months, for 2 years, you will need to, if you want to obtain a stamp 4 visa, you can apply for that 21 months after the employment permit has been granted. Just finally, I suppose, in terms of the typical engineering opportunities which the team and I would look after here in Morgan McKinley, generally they would be across manufacturing. So you would have the likes of automation engineers really sought out after in both medical device and pharmaceutical companies. Process engineers are probably the most sought after engineers at the moment, given the manufacturing industry has gone through the roof, particularly process engineers with good root cause analysis experience and troubleshooting skills. And typically then, because of that and because of the shortage in process engineers, that usually knocks on as well. It has a knock-on effect on maintenance engineers. And spoke about Galway being the capital of medical device in Ireland. There's a huge shortage of NPI and R&D engineers there. Okay, so I think that's everything from me. Thank you for your time. And hopefully, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me there on LinkedIn or through email.
Thank you so much, Barry, for being here today and explaining us how to get employment permit in Ireland. That was very useful information. I hope people like it and got new information from there. And thank you so much for your participation.